Alright, so we did a monomial times a poly. We did a monomial times a poly. First one was a trinomial, the second one was a true polynomial. What do you think we're going to do now? Binomial times a what? You're going to do bi times poly? You're right, we're going to get there. Let's do bi times bi first. Okay? Binomial times a binomial, right, looks like this. X plus 3 times x minus 2. Right? And binomial times a binomial. Instead of the distributive method to do this one, what method are you going to use? FOIL. F-O-I-L. FOIL. What does that stand for? First, outer, inner, last. First, outside, inside, last. You guys, by now, ought to be experts at FOIL. Right? That's 8th grade math. You should have no trouble with FOIL. If you do, you need to come to extra help. Okay?
What's the same one?
First, outside, inside, last. First gives me x squared. Outside gives me negative 2x. Inside gives me positive 3x. And last gives me negative 6. Does it kind of look like a cat face? See how I did that?
Cat face. Looks like a messed up. Looks like a monkey person.
If that helps you, those arrows, they always look like that. Okay, that's why I did it though. You are not done. What do you have to do?
Simplify.
You got to simplify by doing what? Combine like terms in your inside. Your O and your I always need to be combined. So I got x squared plus what? Plus plain old x minus 6. So we multiplied a bi times a bi, and what was our outcome? A trinomial. Binomial times a binomial, and our outcome was a trinomial. Okay, questions? No, it will not always be that. About 80% of the time it will be, but I'm going to show you an example here. Any questions on binomial times a binomial or the FOIL method? All right. Let's talk about when it would not be a trinomial. Anybody have an example? Let's multiply a binomial times a binomial. And the outcome, I want the outcome to not be a trinomial. Anybody know how I would make that happen? No? Good guess.
Use another variable.
Let's try this one. Remember this? This is called a special product. Okay, product means multiplication. This is a special product. When you have x plus 9 and x minus 9, and you do your full method, you get x squared plus 9x minus 9x minus 81. Just fold it out faster than you probably. What happens, though, to my inside terms? They cancel out. 9x and negative 9x go away. So what's my answer? X squared minus 81. So I multiplied a binomial times a binomial, and what was my outcome? A binomial. This is called a what? A special product. I'd write that down. This is a special product. Okay? Everything else you can FOIL. You can FOIL this. But if you're smart enough to recognize it, then it might save you some time. X plus 5 times x minus 5 is automatically, what's your answer going to be? X squared minus 25. Here's a question. If I change this and make this into negative and I make that into positive, does that affect the outcome in it? No, it doesn't. As long as that's x plus 5 and that's x minus 5 in either order, your outcome is always going to be x squared minus 25. Okay? Question?
I don't understand the full part. Like,
First outside, inside, last?
Yeah, we never did that last year.
You need to come to extra help. Okay? First outside, first, outside, inside, last. That's you got to be just. It has to be automatic at this point. Quiet, please. No, it does not. Okay. Good question. All right. So we did monomial times binomial. We did bi times bi. Where are we headed? What do we got to do now? A binomial times a trinomial. Okay, binomial times a trinomial. Here we go. X squared plus 4 times x squared minus 5x minus 6. This is a binomial times a trinomial. You can't just distribute like we did when we had a monomial times a trinomial. Now we have a bi. We're still going to use the distributive method, but we have to do it in 2 steps, not just 1 step. I'm going to do this one for you, then we'll work together on the next one. Watch. There to there, there to there, there to there. We take x squared and I multiply it by all 3 terms. There, there, and there. So I get x to the 4 minus 5x cubed minus 6x squared. Any questions on how I got that line? Anybody not see how I got those 3 terms? Alright, here's the important step. Now I'm going to take positive 4 and I'm going to multiply there, there, and there, and I'm going to stack my like terms. 4x to the second, 4 times x to the second goes right here. 4x to the second. Then I've got 4 times negative 5 is going to be negative 20x. It's out here by itself. There's no x to go above it. Then I've got 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. So the only like terms are my x squareds. Those are my only like terms. Those are the only ones that got stacked one on top of the other. All right. Draw my line, and what do I do with these 2 lines? I combine them. I add them up. Combine them. I get x to the 4th minus 5x cubed minus 2x squared minus 20x minus 24. Binomial times a trinomial. What was my outcome? Polynomial. How many terms were in this polynomial? 5 terms. Okay? Sometimes it might have 4 terms. Sometimes it might have 6 terms. It just kind of depends. Okay? Questions? Let's do another one. Any questions? Any questions? I'll give you a second to copy this down. How are we doing on time?
Got 2.5 minutes.
That should be good. All right, here we go. Let's do another. Binomial times a trinomial. First step. First step. What do we do? What method are we using? Distributive method. What are we going to distribute? The first step. 6x. How many places do I have to multiply the 6x? 3 places. It's got to go there, there, and there. All 3 places. So I get 18. 6 times 3 is 18. X to the what? Third. 6x times 4x is going to be plus what? 24x squared. 6x and negative 1 is going to be what? Negative 6x. Very good. All right, that's my first step. I distribute 6x all the way throughout. What's my next step? Distribute what? Negative 3. How important is it for that negative to go with the 3 all 3 places? Very important. Negative 3 right here goes there, there, and there. All 3 places. Okay? So what is negative 3 times 3x squared going to be?
Negative 9x squared.
Where does it go?
Underneath the 1.
That's right. Negative 9x squared goes right there. See how I stack it? One on top of the other? Get all my like terms together. That makes it a lot easier, that last step. All right. How about negative 3 times 4x? What's that going to be?
Negative 12x.
Negative 12x. See how it's nice and stacked? And then negative 3 times negative 1 is what? Careful. Positive 3. Positive 3. Combine all your like terms, and I get what? 18x cubed. Then what?
Plus 15x squared.
Plus 15x squared. Very good.
Minus 18x.
Minus 18x. Plus 3. Very good. Questions? Okay. Which one? I'm adding. From here to here, I'm adding. Negative 6x minus 12x will be negative 18x. You're adding those two together. Negative and negative.